Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to do a detailed review on this Mr. coffee maker. It's a 12-cup programmable coffee maker. They sell them at Walmart for about 25 bucks. It comes in a really nice red color too. But so on the box it said it was 20% faster. I'm not sure how that is, but we're going to check that. It's got a brew strength selector, so we can do a strong brew. It's got a no water filter, but it is water filter friendly, and I'll show you that. You can put a Mr. Coffee water filter on it, but it comes separately. And it's got a fresh brew timer. So I really like the looks of this coffee maker. It's got a big lid you're going to open up here. That's the brew head. Right there is where you're going to put the water. And then this is the filter basket. It's got that plunger on the bottom so that you can take a cup of coffee out and it'll stop the brew process. It's got the word back on here, so you're going to want to make sure you get it right there. One nice thing about this door, I like Mr. Coffee's, is if you forget to put the brew head back when you close the door, it moves the brew head for you. So that's kind of a neat thing. It does have a sight glass on the side. You have to read it from the side. It doesn't some of them poke out to the front. You can see them. It's got a non-stick warmer, pretty standard coffee pot. It's got the tilt-up lid with thumb control. You can get your hand in there if you had to do some cleaning. Fits in there really well. I like the controls. Coming around the back, it does have a nice big opening for cord storage, and these holes are if you fill it up with water too high. If you put too much water back here, it's going to come out these holes here and make a mess. Let's go over dimensions. It seems really compact, so about 9 inches front to back. You know, maybe about 8 inches. And it's only 13 inches without the lid open. And so with the lid open, it is roughly about 19 and a half inches. Not too bad. It does give you nice access from the right hand side. You know, the door does open to the left for you to pour your water and to do your work. It just feels like a pretty, I mean, most of it's plastic. Pretty much all of it's plastic. But it feels like a really nice coffee maker. Again, they're still making these and they still sell them. So one thing about the controls, it's not backlit, and that can be kind of tricky to see. So the controls seem pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, when you lose power, these things do lose their time. So you're just, to set the time, you're just gonna come up here. So be careful, there's the hour button. It does have an AM light and a PM light. That's really nice. And if you need to change the minute. If you want to just brew a pot of coffee right now, that's the on-off button. And these don't flash in real life. They're on steady. But the brew now light's on and it's regular. You do have this brew strength. So you have to press the brew strength after you start the coffee maker. You can't select it before you start the brew. And it's got this fresh brew timer. We're going to play with that after we brew the pot of coffee. And then it's got this delay brew. Okay, so I'll go over real quick. To set the delay brew, so say you want to brew a pot of coffee in the morning, make sure you got your water, your coffee, your filter, everything in. You're going to press this set delay button one time. It's going to change to a different time. This is the time you want it to start in the morning. So there's an AM. So I'm going to go 5:15 AM. Give yourself about 15 minutes before you want a cup of coffee. Now, if we let it just sit here and wait, this light's flashing. That lets me know that that time is the delay brew time. In just a minute, this is going to stop flashing, but I have to do one more step. Okay, so it stopped flashing. It went back to normal time. Now, in order to get the delay brew to start, I have to get that light on. So it's kind of tricky. You got to press this button twice. If you press it the first time and stop, it's going to start brewing right now. But if you hurry up and press it again, it'll go to delay brew. So let's try it. 1, 2. So there again, see it? the brew now light came on first, but then as soon as I pressed it the second time, the delay brew came on. Now I know that this coffee maker will start at 5:15 a.m. in the morning. And I can change, if I want to do a strong brew for that morning coffee, I can change, then this is where I can change the strength selector. Let's say I want to cancel this. So say, I want to sleep in now, I'm not going to need a delay brew. You just come up here and hit that button that turns it off. Okay, so back to, we've got the delay brew set. Now say you're like, oh, what time was it? I want to make sure. Just come up here and hit the set the delay brew one time. That's going to start flashing, and then it's going to show you, okay, it's going to start at 5:15. The nice thing about this, if you had it on to begin with, it's going to revert back after a few seconds. It'll revert back. This light will stay on, and it goes back to normal time. There, it went to normal time. This light's on steady, and now my coffee maker is going to start in the morning. Okay, so let's make a cup of coffee, and we're going to use, it's basket style filters. 8 to 12 cup, just a standard basket type filter. So we're going to lift the lid. We're going to move the brew head out of the way. And we're just going to put our coffee filter in here. Just kind of make sure it's kind of even, coming up the basket equally on both sides. You don't want it more on one side than on the other. And just kind of make sure it's hugging the wall. There. Now we're going to put our coffee grounds in. Okay, so this is where some coffee makers get kind of confusing. So if I look at the Folgers can for coffee, it says 1 serving is 6 fluid ounces, 1 tablespoon. Well, you might think there's 12 servings in here because this is a 12. That's not the case. So they do have this nice chart in the user manual, and you can pause it if you want. But in order to do 12 cups, we're going to use 9 tablespoons of coffee. 10 cups, we would use 7.5. 8 cups, we would use 6.5. 6 cups, 4.5. And 4 cups, 3 tablespoons. So this is a pretty good chart to help you figure out how much coffee grounds to put in there. And the nice thing about this coffee maker is it's going to, whatever water you put in it, that's what it's going to brew. So say you want to do just 6 up to the 6 mark. So if you fill this up to the 6 mark, come over here to the chart, and we put 4.5 tablespoons of coffee grounds in the filter. And then when we dump that water in the back, it's going to brew just that 6 cups of coffee. So that's, and you can do that all the way up and down, wherever you want it. If you find that, oh, I use right at 7, then that's the amount of coffee you can make every day. But for this demonstration, I'm going to go all the way up to the 12. So I'm going to put 9 tablespoons of coffee in. So here I have my tablespoon. And I'm going to do 9 of these. Okay, so I've got my 9 tablespoons of coffee in there. And now we're going to fill this up to the 12 mark with water. Do you ever wonder why coffee pots have this thumb lid that comes up? And I think it's so you can add water to it really easy. Otherwise, you're trying to direct the water in there and it's kind of hard and splashing all over. But if you can lift that lid up, it's easy to fill up with water. Okay, so I got my coffee pot filled up to the 12 mark. And we're going to move the brew head. It's a little easier if you move the brew head yourself. And we're going to put the coffee right back in this big area back here. Or I'm sorry, the water. Now it's going to brew all that water we put in it. And you can see if you overfill it, that's where the water is going to go out. So there's the sight glass. We're up to the maximum at the 12. We're going to put the coffee pot back in. We're going to close the lid. And then since we're doing a coffee right now, we're just going to come up here and press this one time. These lights are on steady. And it's going to start the brewing the coffee right now. Okay, so this is your standard coffee pot. It's there's a heater back here somewhere that it's heating the water up, and it's going to bring it up to a boil, and then it's going to send it over the coffee grounds. And then we're going to time this, and we're going to see what kind of temperature we get at the end. Okay, so we're almost to the 10 cup mark. We're getting towards the end of the brew cycle. This does get kind of hot, and you do get quite a bit of steam, and it beeps at you when it's done. even though we've got a little bit more to drain out of the filter. Now be careful. I don't suggest opening this because you do get quite a bit of steam, but you can see there's some more water that has to drain out of that filter basket. But the coffee grounds did really good. They didn't come up out of that filter. This coffee maker did really well. So yeah, it's at the 11 cup mark and it's only been 9 minutes. So this is a little bit faster. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but it is a little bit faster coffee maker. The standard is about 1 cup every minute. So this one's about 2 to 3 minutes quicker than the standard coffee maker. And then I want to show you that auto. So you could take a cup of coffee out, even though there's still some water dripping out. It stops that water from dripping out. You can get a quick cup of coffee and put it back in. So let's get a cup and check the temperature. Okay, this pours pretty nice. That's about standard. Yep, 165. That's a really hot cup of coffee. And the coffee tastes really good out of here. I'm not a big, I don't drink my coffee black. I use a lot of cream and sugar, but I've had coffee out of this and it tastes really good. So now let's talk about the fresh brew timer. So if I press that button, it changes from the clock to a timer. And it shows me, so for 2 minutes, this pot of coffee's been sitting here. If somebody comes out here and is like, oh, I wonder how long that pot of coffee's been sitting there, Now this will shut off automatically after 2 hours. So see how the brew now light's on? That means your warming plate is on still. And it's going to keep this pot of coffee warm for 2 hours. After 2 hours, if you haven't come up here and turned it off, it's going to shut everything off automatically. So that's a nice feature. Otherwise, you'll get burnt coffee in your coffee pot. But if you were done with the pot of coffee, you could just come up here and turn it off. That would turn the warming plate off. Let's go over cleanup now. So be careful. This can be really hot, but you would move the brew head out of the way. And it's got these little ears here and here. You can grab this filter basket and you can go recycle your coffee grounds or throw them away. It's got that plunger at the bottom that's going to keep it from dripping as you go and throw it away. So that's really nice. Okay, so let's talk cleanup. The lid comes off really easy. You can put all 3 of these items in the dishwasher, top rack. Normally I just rinse this out, and about every 3rd time I'll throw it in the dishwasher. But you can get your hand in here and kind of clean if you had to. So this is really nice for cleanup. Okay, so now let's do a strong brew. But before that, I've got my coffee filter in, my coffee grounds. So this does not come with a filter, but this is a Mr. Coffee filter. It's a carbon filter, and these are little discs that slide in. Like this is just a holder. There's the carbon disc. When you get these, you got to run these under water to kind of get some of that carbon dust out, and then you put them in. And then it's got this little red thing. I put it on the month I installed it. See, it's got little months. January, February, March, April. You're supposed to change this every 3 to 6 months, depending on how hard your water is. But Mr. Coffee water filters, to me, are not... it fits real nice. What I don't like is you have to take this on and off every time. Some coffee makers, Cuisinart is one, they've got their filter on a handle that's way down in there that it just stays there and you don't mess with it until you're ready to change it. Well, Mr. Coffee, you got to take this on and off every time you brew a pot of coffee. I mean, you get used to it after a while. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but to me, it just seems like it could be a little better way of doing that. But again, so we're going to do a 12-cup strong brew, and we're going to time it and see how long it takes. Okay, I've got my water in and I'm ready to go. But remember, I can't select the brew strength. See, when I do that, nothing happens until I turn it on. So I got to first start the brew, okay, and it comes up regular. Then I can come over here and I got to hit this brew strength selector right away in order to get it over to the strong. Now these lights aren't flashing; they're on steady. I know they're flashing on the video, but So the brew now's on, and my strong brew. I'm going to time it, and we'll see how long the strong brew takes. So what I've noticed with the strong brew is it kind of brews for just a little bit, and then it kind of pauses. Not very long, and then it brews again. So we can take a look up here. So it doesn't have all the coffee grounds saturated yet. Okay, so we're at the 4-cup mark, and it's been 5 minutes. And we can see, so coffee grounds are starting to get saturated pretty good. Okay, so it beeps at you when it's done. It's still got a little bit more to go. We're only at the 10-cup mark. So in order to get all the way done, it's going to take about 12 to 14 minutes. So the strong brew is about 4 or 5 minutes longer than a normal brew. And it comes out at the same temperature. And it does taste a little bolder, maybe. I'm not quite sure, but like I said, I'm not the biggest expert on coffee tasting, but I do know it tastes really good out of this coffee maker. I'm going to do another video on how to clean this coffee maker with white vinegar. I hope this video helped. If you could, leave your comments about things you liked about the video or something you want to see more of, or if you have any questions about this coffee maker, I'll be more than happy to help. I hope this video helps. That's my intention on my videos. I just want to help people out there. And if you could, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.